various engineering colleges and in and around Maharashtra. She has chaired international conferences abroad in the countries like Mexico, Dubai, and Malaysia. She is currently guiding 3 research scholars, and 6 research scholars are already awarded PhD under her guidance. And she is the most important thing, she is the only and first lady to represent ISTE, Maharashtra, and Goa section as section managing committee, that is SMC. She is also currently an executive council member of ISTE New Delhi. She has authored 2 books, one on cognitive radio, basic concepts, mathematical modeling and applications, and other on the error control coding for performance improvement in PPR. She has successfully completed the sponsored projects executed by her from Amitech Electronics, Innotech Antennas Private Limited, and Cresoli Tech Private Limited in association with the IID, that is Indian Institute for Drones. She is a very known personality for her work in the cognitive radio communication. And as one of the participants asked me, what is the talk about, today's talk about? So here I would say that she will be explaining the role of cognitive radio and bandwidth efficiency in today's scenario when we are switching over or we are trying to implement the 5G networks. So over to Raut ma'am. Ma'am, please welcome from all of us. Here I would like to add that all the participants are the registered participants. They have registered themselves for this webinar, and I hope that very sincerely and with all sincerity they will attend this session. Thank you.
Thank you, Gauri ma'am, for such a nice introduction. A very good morning to one and all. With the blessings of the Almighty, we all are safe at home. Hello. Am I audible, Gauri ma'am? Hello. Gauri ma'am?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, fine.
You're audible.
Yeah, okay. A very good morning to one and all. With the blessings of the Almighty, we are all safe at home. It is a pleasure to address young and talented brains, listening and trying to learn from home. What are we doing? What we are doing right now? हम जो अभी जो कर रहे हैं, find the distance learning itself speaks about our today's topic. That was one of the question from the participant, right? So जो हम अभी कर रहे हैं वही आज का topic है. Fine. So friends, we are discussing today opportunities for electronics and communication engineers. Now this branch, electronics and communication, is a beautiful blend of electronics with communication technology. We are into the wireless world, the era of mobile communication. Every rising sun registers a beyond limit increment in the mobile data traffic. The global mobile data traffic will be approximately 49, it is expected 49 exabyte per month by 2021. This is just expectations. It may even go beyond that. By data analysis, it is found to be reaching to 49 exabyte per month. More electronics and communication engineers will be required to handle such huge data traffic and required infrastructure. The defense, IT sector, communication companies, aerospace sector, all require communication and electronics engineers. Right, guys? Moreover, today, the crisis we are in, this situation itself has made the opportunities of electronics and communication engineers very obvious. The field importance very obvious. In fact, it is popularly being said and accepted that the I in the COVID-19 stands for innovation. Rather, I would urge you all to be innovative. And being an electronics and communication engineer makes you capable for the same. See, your electronics and your communication background gives you that knowledge, gives you that capability, provided you understand that and have the thirst to apply it. So what all is that you can do in such kind of a situation? Remember, this is going to, I mean, at this point you must understand that this is the first time might be, but this can be number of times in future. So realizing that, what you should just introspect communication engineer for providing some solution to the current problems that are faced. So what can you do? You can function in the sanitization chamber, because it's all wireless sensing, wireless, what you can say, without touch, you want the sanitization to be done. You want the sanitizer to fall on your hand. Then without touch, you want to serve the patients, so robots for healthcare. Then you have to go for surveillance. I mean, you have to ensure that the quarantine people do not come out, the home quarantine people do not come out, that the people do not gather in more than, I mean, in numbers, which is not permitted. Fine. So for all this, what is needed? So drones for surveillance and safety are needed. All these, don't you think is your branch related? Then finally, or not, I shouldn't say finally, but then very prominently, the mobile that most of you might be holding in your hand right now, is that a mere communication device now? Just a talking and a entertainment device? No. It has become your online classroom. It has become your tutor. It has become your guru. So your mobile, which was only a tool for talking, enjoying, and I mean entertainment purpose, now it has turned into an online classroom. Realizing this, of course, this is what an electronics engineer can do. And let me with great pride tell you that the students of Government College of Engineering, Nagpur, have realized this and demonstrated their application based knowledge. They, under the guidance of Dr. Prashant Kadu sir, have designed and deployed the sanitization chamber at IGMC. Now, why am I telling all this to you? See, this is not to, I mean, glorify my students or something like that. They are just like you, the same as you are. Only thing is that they got the proper guidance, and they had that thirst, they had that what you instinct, they had that what you can say desire to help the society. So I'm just telling you this, that even if they can do, why can't you do? And this will definitely improve your knowledge based skills, I mean application based skills, and in future help you to even earn. Today this might be just a service, a generosity, but tomorrow that can be a source of earning for you. So one of my ex-student has designed the automatic touch-free sanitizer. He calls it as COVIDizer. I can also name the person, Shubham Telkhande. He's from EDT branch, RCOM. Previously, I was in Ramdev Engineering College. Why I name the students? Because this is not a fake data. This is something substantial. Now, your mobiles are turning to be your teachers, your classroom. Students of GCUN have developed indigenous virtual lab for AI. Now, they have demonstrated that, yes, this mobile is your classroom. So, in spite of the fact that you do have virtual labs, the IIT people, MIT people have thrown it open for open access. But then they thought, why shouldn't we ourselves design it? So they designed their own virtual lab for artificial intelligence. Students of CSE, there are 4 of them. Now I do not have their names right now. If you wish, you can contact me later for the names. These all are e-gadgets designed and deployed by electronics and telecommunication engineers and computer science engineers. Also, students of Government College of Engineering have developed a website, Helping Hands, to help the persons in need during emergency. They have developed it, they have launched it, and people are registering and getting the required help. I can name the person. Nehal Raut is one of the student, and the other is Brushali Hedau. Both Brushali Hedau is electronics and communication, and Nehal Raut is computer science engineering student. So students like you are doing this. Now, the slide that you see on the screen is the sanitization chamber that has been designed by Dr. Prashant Kadu sir and his team, and the team comprised of Nirupam Khattadkar, a first-year student from Government College of Engineering. Believe me, a first year student. And then on the other side of the screen, what you have is the automatic sanitizer disposer. So this is what is the design by a student like you. So this is all on the screen now. What you have in a nutshell is the sanitizing chamber, the automatic sanitization disposer, the drone surveillance, the virtual lab, and the Helping Hands website. These are all the things brought out by and designed and deployed by students of Government College of Engineering, Nagpur. Now, in addition to the sanitization chamber, the drone design was also carried out by Center for Creativity and Innovation along with students of Government College of Engineering, Nagpur, and under the guidance of Dr. Prashant Kadu sir. These drones were designed in the CP office at Nagpur, and then they were deployed for surveillance. So these people not only design but fly the drones. So to that extent, students are reaching. So I have that photograph also to show to you. Just see, Prashant Kadu sir is right up there on the police van. Then the first person on the left, the thin person, very thin person, is Nirupam Khartadkar. And the other side, you see in the CP office, the students designing the drones. 3 nights sleepless they spent for the designing. And their care was taken by Dr. Prashant Kadu sir. So amazing, isn't it? Fine. So first year student. So even if the 12 students are registered here, 12 standard students, even you can do all this. The thing is that you should have that desire to learn, because plenty of knowledge is available today on the net. And this branch, this electronics and communication branch, believe me, can work wonders. Now, for those who are listening, I have a question, and at the end of this session, you can just type in your answers for the session. So this is just to see how much of you are really attentively and trying to understand and listen the webinar that is going on. So the question is, by 2021, mobile traffic will approximately reach to. Okay, what is the question? By 2021, mobile traffic will approximately reach to. So you have to choose an answer and give it on your chat box. Okay, fine. So, my dear students, for all this data, which is going to mount to the value that you have to enter and which I already gave to you, fine. So this is what this requires what? High bandwidth and speed. So high bandwidth and speed are hence the need of the hour. So where to get this from? Which technology will serve all this? Which technology will give you all this? So obvious answer, which all of you must have just spelled out, is the 5G, right? So what do you think is? Definitely 5G will provide you with all these high bandwidth and high speed facilities, and what you can say, services will be provided as per need in the 5G technology. I mean, as desired, you will get the amount of speed and the amount of the bandwidth. So definitely this is a promising technology, and we should go to look out for its advantages. Launched in 2018 in South Korea, it is a promising technology with advantages like it is the next major phase of mobile telecommunication and wireless system. I mean, the next generation is 5G, wherein we expect the speed to be up to 20 gigabytes per second. 20 gigabytes per second. It will provide dynamic information access. It will be possible to provide uniform, uninterrupted, seamless, and consistent connectivity across the world. So with 5G, these all are the advantages. But 5G, okay, once again, you have another question coming over there. I think this is repeated, so I shall skip. So let us go to the problem associated with 5G. Now 5G, though it was launched by South Korea so early, way back in 2018, December 2018, but still till December 12, 2019, it was banned by countries like Australia, New Zealand, Japan, Taiwan, and even USA. So definitely because of the drawbacks and the hazards that it is facing. So what are these drawbacks and disadvantages associated with the 5G technology? Let us take a look. Incompetent technological support in most parts of the world. Now this is a total paradigm shift. 5G is a total paradigm shift. You are transmitting and receiving at a different spectrum, different band. If you look into the specification, the band has changed. So many of the countries still are technologically incompetent, and the technology is not supported in most parts of the world. And it requires what? It requires replacing the old devices with the new ones. So most of the previously existing handheld devices will not be able to support 5G data transmission. Then security and privacy issue are yet to be resolved in 5G. 5G has a specification that the 5G transmitters are low power transmitters. What does this mean? This means that the range of transmission will be limited. And if the range is limited, to extend the range, we'll have to deploy more number of transmitters. The base stations, in number of base stations required will be more. What will this increase? This will increase the tremendous radiations being thrown out into the atmosphere from these transmitters, these high frequency transmitters, the gigahertz transmitters. So, my dear friends, high risk of health hazards from the radio frequency radiation is the greatest drawback of this 5G transmission. It can cause radiation sickness, burns, cancer, and even genetic damage. This is very hard to believe, but this is a fact. So, is there any option for this? I mean, if 5G is a promising technology, how can we let it go? We have to use it. We have to find some alternative way to deploy the 5G technology. So 5G is using a total different band for transmission. For what? Because it wants a higher bandwidth, it wants a higher data rate for the huge data that it needs to transmit. Now, my dear friends, when we are moving to another band, or rather in a day-to-day life also, when we look for an additional room space in the house, fine, what do we see? Whether the available room space is fully utilized or not. जो जगह तुम्हारे पास में है वो पूरी तरह यूटिलाइज्ड अगर है तो ठीक है, तो हम और जगह खरीदेंगे, नया घर खरीदेंगे जिसमें ज्यादा रूम्स हो, ऐसा कुछ. मगर only if you what the elderly person will do, he will try to see that whether the available space is fully utilized or not. Same is the case with bandwidth. You have to introspect, you have to analyze whether the available utilizable bandwidth is fully being utilized. The current bandwidth efficiency, you have to introspect. So this introspection was done, and this introspection is quite clear from day-to-day life. So just imagine the television receivers at your home. How many of you know that there is a channel called God channel? Very few might be knowing, and almost negligible would be logging onto that channel. But that channel is there. It is a licensed channel. Somebody is paying for that channel. But receivers are not logging into that channel, meaning thereby that channel is going in vain. So a survey was conducted, and it was found that the available utilizable bandwidth, utilizable means the range over which you can transmit. Fine, there is a standard range over which you can transmit. It has a lower bound and it has an upper bound. Why a lower bound? Because beneath a certain level you cannot transmit. Why you cannot transmit? Because E is equals to h nu. Energy associated with the signal is h into nu. Nu is what? The frequency of that signal. Low frequency signal will have low energy, and therefore they will not be able to transmit to a longer distance, right? So you need high frequencies. Therefore, beneath a certain level, you cannot go. This specifies your lower bound. And what about the upper bound? Upper bound, as you see, that we already spoke. In 5G, they are crossing the gigahertz transmission range, and therefore all hazards have come up. So the utilizable bandwidth was studied, whether it is fully utilized or not. So a survey from Ofcom people is on the screen. Now the blue lines that you see are the 0 dB level, and the dark one, the brown one, is the full 64 dB level, fully utilized level. And you see most of the screen is blue. What does that mean? That most of the band space is going in vain. So is there any technology which can make use of this? Yes, there is. And that is what is my next part of the discussion. A solution, what you can say, a alternative. I cannot say an alternative. I'll later on conclude with what exactly I want to say. But to reduce or to bring to keep away the hazards of the cognitive radio, or rather the 5G technology, what comes into picture is the cognitive radio. So now what is this cognitive radio? ये नया बंदा है. अब इसको देखेंगे ये क्या है? What is this? A new hero has come, and therefore I have a story on this hero, a presentation story on cognitive radio. So for this hero, what was the thirst? The thirst and the quench. How was the thirst quenched? And the objectives, the communication basics, what is cognitive radio, the operation. This is all what this story will tell you. This is already discussed. Now, the next slide makes that TV example quite clear. Just see, only 2 TV receivers logged on, and here in WLAN, GSM, LTE, you have huge data traffic, you have all that congestion coming up. So this is what is spectral inefficiency. So a hero has to come to deal with this villain, which is the spectral inefficiency. So how can this be dealt? So just before talking on this slide, I will give you an example. If you have been to Pune, you know the Pune traffic has a reserved pathway for the buses, right? The bus has a special pathway. Now, very often on the signals, that is the traffic signals, you can get through the traffic signals on your 3rd or 4th turn. And what you see just adjacent to you is a empty pathway left for the bus when the bus is not there. बस है ही नहीं, और वो जगह वो बस के लिए खाली पड़ी है, और आप लोगों का जो टर्न है सिग्नल को थ्रू करने का, वो कब आ रहा है? आपके तीसरे या चौथे टर्न. So don't you think this is very much annoying? Of course it is. And what comes to your mind? अरे यार वहाँ पे तो traffic है नहीं. There is no traffic on that side. So why can't I go on that side and just clear the signal? Let me jump onto that side and go clear that signal and take my pathway. So this is actually what is seen on the screen. तो ये जो मोबाइल यूजर्स है, the mobile users that you are seeing over here, fine, the mobile users over here definitely want to move over the television band. So the technology that makes this possible is your hero, the cognitive radio technology. Abhi tak ke, till now, till date, what is the allocation strategy? It is the static spectrum allocation strategy. What is static? Static means what? Ki every application has its own specific bandwidth, which is specified, which is licensed for that application. So the government licenses a particular band for an application. For example, for television, it is 200 megahertz. For the mobile communication, 3G, 4G, it is the 1800, 1900, and the 800, 900. So they cannot transmit beyond that band. This is static spectrum allocation. But what does cognitive radio suggest? Cognitive radio suggests this transfer of the mobile data traffic over the television traffic. Means what? Dynamic spectrum allocation. That is, allocate the spectrum as needed by the application. On time spectrum allocation. This is what is being done by cognitive radio. Cognitive radio makes this possible. So I have a very beautiful slide showing what exactly the problem is and how cognitive radio solves it. So here comes the cognitive radio solution. We will come to this slide later, the definition. So see, now what you see is the mobile traffic, the several people over that pathway, and you have the Imperial lane. Imperial lane is the emergency lane, fine. Then or the Royal lane. Then you have the television, you have the medical, the emergency, and the satellite lane. So now this person, this boy over here, wants to go this way. Fine, he wants to cross this bridge, so-called bridge. Fine. Now he's worried about this so huge traffic over here. So today we are into such kind of a technology. That is, every application is bounded to go through its own pathway. Okay. However, what we want now, this boy is not able to find his way. Okay. So what happens now? To his rescue, what comes is the cognitive radio. So cognitive radio, what it does, it scatters the traffic. It scatters it over all available space. And now this boy can easily move through. Getting it? Fine. So this is what is cognitive radio. Now let us define this cognitive radio. I hope up till now you have understood what exactly cognitive radio from the animation screens that I have shown. It is actually a video, but then here it was not possible to show that video. So I better thought that I will explain through slides. My dear friends, now cognitive radio is a radio, which definitely has to be a transceiver device. Now, what kind of a transceiver device? Now, this transceiver device has to be smart. What kind of smartness it needs? It needs to be able to understand and react to its operating environment. Now, what does that mean? Very simple. You have your Bluetooth in your phones. The moment you turn on your Bluetooth, what does it do? It scans the entire space around you, whatever is the range for Bluetooth, 100 meters, 200 meters, whatever range is there, fine. On an average, it is 100 meters. So in the periphery of 100 meters, whosoever has turned on the Bluetooth, your phone will show that these are the persons available or the Bluetooths operating in your proximity. So this is exactly what the cognitive radio will need. It will need what? The moment you turn on your mobile, it will need an ability to scan what are the available frequencies to transmit and receive. In addition to that, it will have the ability to know what are the mobiles in proximity, which in the line of sight of your mobile, which can directly be communicated by you, wherein you do not need to transmit your signal to the base station. If the people are in your line of sight communication, in your mobile's transmitter receiver line of sight communication, the mobile will be capable to sense these mobiles. Your mobile will be capable, cognitive mobile will be capable to sense these mobiles and talk to them directly. So this is what the definition says. It is a transceiver device that is able to understand and react to its operating environment. यानी जो भी बैंडविड्थ एम्प्टी है उस बैंडविड्थ पे ये ट्रांसमिशन करना शुरू कर देगा. Getting it? Fine. So with cognitive radio, you will not get what? Ki all lines in this route are busy, there is congestion in the network, and so many things. So very often what happens is that when you are calling a person inside an institution, very often we face this problem. We are in the campus, from one building to the other building. The person is visible. The person is visible. We move out to the gallery, and the person is visible to us. But we cannot talk so loudly that therefore we make a call. And what happens is that the mobile says the person is out of coverage area. You can see that person with your naked eyes. Fine, the person is being observed by you, being seen by you, and your mobile is saying that the person is out of coverage area. Now, isn't this strange? No, it's not strange. It is the communication, wireless communication, which is presently being operated as. Fine. So this is annoying, but it is a fact. Now, why does this happen? This happens because your mobile now is not intelligent enough to detect that the person is in line of sight. What did the mobile does? Your mobile simply transfers the call request to the base station to the MSC back to the base station, and base station then contacts the called party. This is the routine process, what is going on currently. Now, in this, what happens that when your call is getting connected, when your request is getting connected to your base station, your other buildings, other trees, all these things come in into picture, come in the path of the signal. As you know, the mobile environment is a multi-path propagation environment. So what comes into picture because of these multiple reflections and multi-path propagation is fading, the small scale fading and the large scale fading. And therefore, what happens is until that signal reaches that called party, it fades out. And therefore, what is sent to the back by the base station to the MSC, that the called party is out of coverage area. Because the signal has faded out, therefore this happens. Because the signal is not getting connected directly, it is going to the base station, it is hitting the wall, and it is hitting the trees and whatnot that comes in between. But with cognitive radio, this is not going to happen. So cognitive radio ensures seamless connectivity without break connectivity. It will reduce the load on the server, the base stations, the MSCs. What are the features of cognitive radio? What you see on the screen is the features. What are the features? That it has to sense the propagation environment. It has to check its equipment capabilities. The equipment should be capable to transmit on the available frequencies. It should have a proper device to deal with the interference, because interference with every path, every channel will have its own noise. So you should have a proper channel encoder to deal with the noise. Then you should have proper power levels to transmit over the particular spectrum. So you should have a proper modulator. You should have a proper source encoder. Remember these names. What are they? They are basic building blocks of the digital communication system. And with all this, what should you have? You should have the necessary cost that you can incur for all this. You should have that ability to spend on all this. And of course, when you are transmitting on somebody else's band, you should have the permission, right? This is as good as that you are giving your own house on rent. अगर मेरे पास में घर है जो मुझे रिक्वायर्ड नहीं है, टीवी वालों के पास में बैंडविड्थ है, गॉड के पास में बैंडविड्थ है जो उनको रिक्वायर्ड नहीं है, तो वो ऐसे ही थोड़ी ना यूज करने देंगे. What it will do? It will charge. It will rent it out. Fine. But then it will have certain regulation. जब हम हाउस रेंट पे देते हैं तो हम कुछ ना कुछ restrictions definitely लगाते हैं. खिले मत करो, no nails to be put on the walls. Fine. To be hit on the walls. Then unnecessary painting वगैरह ये सब करना नहीं है. So your ownership rights remain. So regulatory constraints are there. Fine. Then to stay in that house, to transmit over that road pathway, you should be capable enough. As I just now told you, that you should have a proper source encoder, the first block, then the modulator, then the channel encoder, the modulator. You should have all this, right? You should have a proper all three modulation scheme, the channel coding scheme, and the source encoding technique. And after all, even if you have all this, you should finally, what you should see by doing all this are the user requirements being catered. So these all are the features of a cognitive radio. Now with this cognitive radio system, what exactly is coming in picture is how will this cognitive radio operate? Because what I am talking of 800, 900 or 1800, 1900 band to or working of a radio to be shifted to a 200 megahertz, which is the center frequency of the television. Dear friends, for changing the frequency, right now I can change from Vodafone to Reliance or Reliance to BSNL. This is possible because I am still operating within that mobile band, and this tuning is possible by the basic RLC components that are available, right? Down to the level it is RLC component. But is this tuning possible that I am talking of? 800 megahertz, 1900 megahertz to 200 megahertz. No, with hardware, this tuning is not possible. So what should we do? What is the solution? What is that which offers us the full flexibility? The full flexibility is offered by something called as software. So now this technology to be implemented, the heart and soul of the cognitive radio is the, what is it? It is the slide before this had shown it. I'll just show you. The name is there on the screen. Is my cursor being seen by you? My cursor is visible to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Hello?
Visible.
Yeah. So this is the element which is responsible to make that cognitive radio technology implementable. This is the hero. It is what? It is the software defined radio. Meaning thereby that your source encoder, your modulator, your channel encoder, everything will be in software. Now the next question immediately will be, my software, will it be able to radiate signal in the atmosphere? No. Your software will not be able to radiate signal. For that, what will you require? You will require an antenna. And to feed the antenna, what you will require? You require basic low noise amplifier circuit. Front-end, RF front-end circuit, what we called it as in the normal transceiver communication technology. So, SDR is a device which will have bare minimum generic hardware, which is basically a LNA, low noise amplifier, and an antenna to radiate the signal, and rest all will be software. So, dear friends, this technology is still under research. So plenty of brains are involved in thinking how this technology will be commercially utilized. So in some parts, it is being utilized for military purposes. USA and UK uses it for military application. However, it is not being commercially utilized yet because it has many problems. But what this has given, or what I wish to propose, or many of them are thinking of, is 5G cannot be deployed because of its as it is. I'm talking of cannot be deployed as it is in a country like India and many other countries like us because of its hazards. Okay, so can we not club these two technologies together? Can we not think of implementing 5G with the help of cognitive radio? So what I propose here is a 5G based cognitive radio system. And when I propose this, and when I have explained all this, this is what will be the appearance of a SDR. This SDR will be connected to your laptop, and this will become a total trans-receiving station. A simple SDR connected to your laptop will become a trans-receiving station, able to transmit and receive at any frequency. Okay. This is a question. I will come back to that question. So what I wish to propose over here is a 5G based cognitive radio. Meaning thereby that I want higher bandwidth, fine. I want high data rate, So with higher data bandwidth, definitely higher data rate will be possible. But I don't want to shift to a higher spectrum. I want to utilize the available spectrum. As soon as I shift to the higher spectrum, the hazards will come into picture, the drawbacks will come into picture. I will have to change the device, and I'll have to write new transmitters and whatnot. Fine. So why not I work with the existing bandwidth? And this is possible, but we have to think over it. Researchers are thinking over it. Why don't you also think over it? Dear students, you can. You definitely can. Yesterday only I was hearing to Dr. Nanoti sir, and he gave an example of a 9th standard student who gave an idea, and his idea was capitalized, or he was supported by TCS people. I hope you have heard that. So let me not repeat it. Fine. So when a 9th standard student can help, can come to and help, and his idea can be implemented, can be used to serve the people, fine. Why not yours? And I think I was able to convey what this cognitive radio is. If you want to know more about cognitive radio, what you do is you type my name, Rajeshri Raut, and cognitive radio, and several of papers which are openly accessible. Even my PPT on cognitive radio is openly accessible, will be on this screen. And beyond that, if you want any further explanation, you can call me, you can drop me a mail. That also is possible. So 5G based cognitive radio is what I am proposing. So let us move to the question. The question is, for 5G network implementation, cognitive radio provides. Dear students, you have to answer this question in the chat box, okay? What exactly I am proposing 5G? Why exactly I am proposing 5G to be implemented through cognitive radio? What is the advantage? That this you have to answer and send in your chat box. Okay. So let me come to the conclusion. Perhaps I do not say that cognitive radio technology is an alternative to 5G. Rather, these two should go hand in hand. And what is expected with this two going in hand in hand is a healthy transmission system, healthy desired transmission, which will have the desirable bandwidth and which will have the desirable data rate. A technology that will ensure the data rates and spectrum bandwidth of 5G, but yet work in the existing underutilized spectrum. This opens up opportunities for young, talented engineers for a total technology revolution to meet the unexpected increased demands of his customers. It needs young brains to innovate, design, and deploy. Innovate, design, and deploy a safe and promising technology. Well, I wish to conclude with a statement from the bottom of my heart. Perhaps the survival of mankind today needs the services of young electronics and telecommunication engineers. I really hope I could convey the best of what I feel and what I know. I thank the organizers for giving me this opportunity to convey my feelings, to convey my inherent liking for this branch. And I really hope that the same I have developed in you. And you definitely, those who are already into the branch, we will definitely work, and those who are aspiring will have even a more greater desire to join the branch. For all these talks, I'm really thankful for all this that I could convey to you. I'm really thankful to Gauri Halde ma'am, Asutkar sir, Dr. Nanoti, principal of PIET, that they have taken pains in this lockdown period and have arranged to manage all this, contact the speakers, so that they keep the young brains like you motivated. Thank you so much. And here are the references on the screen. for my work. If you want if you want my number or email, you can contact the organizers. And for any detailed knowledge regarding cognitive radio, I have a complete book on this recently published by CRC Press. CRC Press, that is there in the references actually. It is the book on cognitive radio, basic concepts, mathematical modeling and applications. So you can refer this book, you can refer my papers. Papers are openly accessible. The book is 30 pages of introduction of openly accessible in the book. That also is sufficient to give the primary knowledge that is required. Then the PPT is there, and I really hope that you will go through all this and you will contribute in your share. Might be a drop into the ocean, and every drop has its value. Fine, to make this reality. What? The 5G based cognitive radio. Thank you so much. Over to you, host.
Thank you, ma'am. By listening to ma'am, I am pretty sure that everyone which is pursuing with the electronics and communication engineering and all those who are aspiring for engineering will definitely have a strong thinking and strong liking for the electronics and communication. She has encompassed so many avenues for the ENC engineers with practical examples and by elaborating all the practical situations that an ENC engineer has to handle. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much. You have taken a time from your busy schedule, and you have been so there for us. Thank you, and enlighten all the students and all the mob in our college as well as out of our college also. Thank you so much.